Hey friends, so I forgot to film the intro to this video, so I wanted to add it in here. I'm going to be making some paint palettes, so this is a little tutorial on how I make these new paint palettes. So the idea is that I've made a lot of the paint pans underneath with the lid to go on top, which can double up as the mixing palettes, and they each have a matching water cup as well. So the next part will be me starting to throw them, and I hope you enjoy this video. Bye! So we have 900 grams of stoneware clay for the base of the paint palette. So just centering as normal. And these actually are quite easy to throw because they're not very high and they're just quite thick, so you have quite a lot of clay because I want to carve out the little, what would you call them, the sections of the palette on the bottom, so I want to make the base quite thick. So I'm probably going to leave about 1 centimetre and a bit, maybe 1.5 centimetres in the base, so I have enough clay there to carve out the little pans that are going to hold my paint. So I'm just opening it up and I'm just going to measure the base. Yeah, so that's about, sorry I should say, it's about that much. Yeah, about a bit above 1 centimetre, which I think should be enough, should give me enough clay to carve those little pans out in the base. And then just going to bring this out to around, this is a large Hartley & Noble insert, which I think is, yeah, 20 centimetres wide. So I'm going to bring it out to more or less that. Just compressing the base, just using the sponge to compress the base because it's quite a wide area. So just getting the sponge and forcing the clay down so you compress the base, but we also want to make sure that's really nice and even for when we carve out those little bits of the paint. You want to have a nice surface to work with. And then I also just use my 2 fingers and just push those down just to make sure it's really properly compressed. Sometimes a sponge. I quite like to do both, just to make sure there's not going to be any chance of cracking. And then after I do that, I go back with the sponge and just make sure that's like a nice smooth surface. It feels slightly higher on the edge actually, so I'm just going to bring some into the middle. So now I'm just going to clean up the outside, make that nice and straight. I've measured that the inside, so inside of the paint palette, I want it to be around 17 centimetres, so I'm just going to bring that out a little bit more. I'm just going to use this rib just to make the side nice and straight. Yeah, it's a little bit less, so I'm just gonna make sure that's, because I'm gonna make a lid for it, so I really want to make sure that that's definitely 17 on the inside diameter, so that the lid is gonna fit. But I also have another chance to trim it once it's dried, so yeah, that's right. So 17 inside diameter. And then just going to use this tool again just to make sure that's straight. I'm just probably going to bring it over the top as well just to make sure that's straight as well. That's the bottom done. Sometimes I just give it a bit of an edge for it to almost crack or break along, so that when it comes off the bat it kind of has a clean place to crack so you don't get any cracks going into the base. So next doing the lid, and then that is a bit less because we don't need it as thick, just because it's going to hit the lid. So I think, yeah, this is 700 grams. So the base was 900 grams and this is 700 grams. So I'm just going to whiz through centering it, coning it up and down again. So the idea is that the paint palette is going to have a lid, which is what I'm making now. But when the palette's in use, this is going to be the lid flipped upside down that you can use as a mixing palette. So it kind of doubles up as a lid and also a place to mix your paints. So yeah, just compressing that clay down over the surface and make it nice and smooth. Now I'm just going to make the little bit of the lid that kind of, you can kind of see here, it like sticks up, so that's going to be able to fit inside the bottom part. What's that called? I don't know. Flange. So we measured 17. So judging from here, it looks like the 17 mark is around halfway, kind of the halfway point of this like thick wall. I'm just going to use a potter's knife, a wooden knife that usually has like this kind of rounded bit on the outside. So I'm just going to push that down about halfway. Something like that. Then I'm just going to try to then compress this. I kind of don't want to lose the clay, so I'm just going to compress that back into the wall. So it has kind of like a nice thick wall, which I'm hoping is going to help with a bit of warping. It's nice and stable. So yeah, this is going to fit into the base. So just going to check. So I want to make sure, yeah, that, so 17 is here. I want to make sure that that's within the 17, just to make sure that's definitely going to fit in. And then I just kind of sharpen it up a little bit. But again, I'm going to trim it, so this is just to give me less work next time. So just using the straight edge of the potter's knife just to make that nice and square. And then just do a final check. Yeah, it's a little bit less actually, but I think that's fine because we want to have a bit of give for when it's fitting into the other side. You don't want it too big. Yeah, and that's it. So yeah, again, I'm just gonna run that along the bottom. And that's the lid. So, yeah. So I'm just making some cups to go with those paint palettes actually. So this is the paint palettes, the ones I threw, so they're drying out and they're getting ready to trim. This is the first one I did. So I kind of carved out the pans for the paint to go in, and then this is the lid here to kind of go on top. But I'll show you me doing one of the next ones. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly show you the kind of little paint kind of to wash your brushes, a little cup to go with them. So I'm really happy with it actually. So this one I've just done ribbons on the top here, and the idea is that, you know, when your paintbrush is not in use, you can pop it up there. So I thought a fluted one might be cool because you could just pop it there or pop it there, kind of multiple ways, so you don't have to line it up, which I thought might be a cute idea too. And then I've just got another one which is kind of the more classic design where I've cut out some holes for the paintbrush to sit in, so that's more of like a minimal, simple design, because not everyone will like the ribbons. But I'm making an extra ribbon one for me as well, because I think that is going to look so cute. So I'm just going to do the carving out of all the little pans on the dish below, and I'm just going to use these like little cookie cutters to cut out the circles, and I have a few different sizes, so I'm just going to plan it out now. So I'm just going to do a big one on the kind of the middle one, and then smaller ones around the outside. I have a very small one, yeah, probably the small one, and the other one I did a bit too close together, so I think I'm gonna space these out a little bit actually, so it gives me a good amount of space between the pans, because yeah, that one I think, oh, I was going a bit too like close to the, each pan was like melding into each other, and I just want to have a clean distinction and not have any kind of problems with the paints mixing too much. So I'm just wondering whether I have one here, or maybe I have a slightly bigger one. Just kind of seeing how it looks before I commit to it. Actually, I'm just thinking maybe I do. So I'm just gonna smooth those over. I changed my mind, so I think I'm gonna do a ring of these small ones, and I'm just gonna carve them a little bit smaller than the actual what I've marked, and then I think I'll do a few on the outside. Otherwise I think it looked a little bit bare on the outside bit. Yeah, I think that will do. So I'm going to carve those out. I'm still kind of working out which is the best tool, so I'm kind of using these tools, kind of these like loop tools, and I'm thinking of maybe possibly using this diamond core tool. I've got like a square end tool, and I also have like their trimming tools which also has a square end, just so I get like the edge of the pan quite distinct. So I'm gonna have a little play with these and decide which one I like to use. So yeah, I might see how it goes with this one. I haven't used this one yet, so I'm just kind of following that edge, trying not to go too deep, and kind of cutting a little bit inside the line just so that it doesn't get too big. It kind of does go a little bit out, so it would be so much easier to do on square pans. I might try to make a square one next time. So that was nice, but yeah, I think this one, yeah, it's a little bit tricky to get a nice edge, but I think it's just a bit of practice with these, because I've never really done anything like this. I might try the bigger one. So I'm just gonna carve that. It's kind of almost might be easier to use a blunter tool, just so that it kind of, yeah, I feel like the sharper ones, even though they're obviously easier to carve in when you're doing things like this, they can almost be too good and like cut out if you slip, or just like you might slip out of the line, and it kind of is easier to cut. So with these, it's obviously they're blunter, but it might actually work in our favour. Yeah, I think that's probably a bit better actually, and it's going to look really messy until I come to sponge it, so I'm thinking that is good for the middle pan. I kind of wanted a big one in the middle, because I guess like white, you kind of need more of that colour compared to like the actual strong colours, so I envision putting my white in the middle. Nice. Yeah, I think that worked out well. I think I'll use this one. So it's just like a normal loop tool really. So just kind of cleaning out that outside bit. Might actually just sponge this, even though I should really sponge at the end. I just kind of want to see what it looks like, just in case I need to carve, kind of cut any deeper out, so I can kind of know what I'm going to do for the rest. Yeah, that looks really nice actually. It's actually much better than the first one I did. I think the first one I did was slightly too wet, the clay, so it was a bit sticky to carve. So yeah, that's the first pan. So I'm just going to speed ahead and do all the others. So yeah, I'll probably just speed through this bit. Awesome, so I've just got a paintbrush to get all the little bits out, and now I'm going to sponge everything, and I'm hoping it's going to look good. So yeah, I'm just getting a sponge and just going into, yeah, maybe if I spin it, into every circle so that each pan is nice and smooth, and then also will hopefully kind of make them look a bit more like circles. They're not so circular, some of them, so just trying to smooth them out with a sponge. Yeah, it's actually working out really well. So yeah, I kind of mainly focused on the edges and just to get that really nice circle, and then hopefully the bottom will just smooth over anyway. Yeah, nice. Okay, so this is much better than my first one actually. The first one was a bit not as neat, so I definitely think the blunter tool helped, and then using the end of that diamond core tool to really square off the edges was nice. And then these outside ones, it's a little bit trickier to get in there. So the reason I'm doing these paint palettes is that I want to get back into painting. So I studied like fine art, so a lot of painting, drawing, and then I had my normal career, and then I before my pottery career I was a scientist, and then now I am obviously a potter, and I kind of miss doing the painting. So I obviously do a lot of the painting on the pottery, but I kind of wanted to get back into actually using proper paints and like painting on paper and stuff, and kind of using that as a bit of an inspiration for each collection, so I can really like flesh it out by painting before I actually come to the clay. I think it will just help a little bit with just the ideas and not being so daunted when I actually come to like decorating the pottery. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So yeah, I'm kind of wanting to get back into painting, so that was the inspiration for these paint palettes, and I want to try to use either watercolors or okay, I can't say this, gouache, you know, the kind of the watercolor that is a bit more opaque, that one. I kind of wanted to use those, so I'm thinking these kind of paint palettes with a little lid, because I kind of want to squirt the paint into each of the bits and then be able to have like a lid for it, and the lid is then gonna like double up as the kind of mixing palette. So yeah, I'm hoping that's gonna turn out as expected. So yeah, that's it for the bottom. So happy with that. I'll just get the top actually, just so I can show you how it fits on. So this is the lid. It's actually not the lid for this one, but yeah, it will fit anyway. So it kind of, this is slightly loose for this one, but yeah, it kind of fits there. And then what I'm going to do is actually give this a few, I'm going to add some like ribbon handles to this, and then it will kind of be able to lift that up a bit easier. And I'll probably show you that once I've done the ribbons on one, just to show you what I mean. It's a little bit tricky to explain. But anyway, they're going to look like that, and I'm going to come and decorate the top, maybe leave some plain glazed, I think will look pretty. So yeah, back in a bit. And it's the more frilly ones, so this is, the handles are really like a proper ribbon, just like doing its thing, whereas this is more like handle shaped. So I'm just deciding which cup goes with which. So this is the cup, and that's another cup. And I'm thinking this cup is possibly slightly more frilly, so it might go with that one a bit better. Whereas this one is a little bit more like a bow, which kind of fits with that. So I think I'm gonna, yeah, have those together. So I'm just decorating one of the paint palettes, and I want to do it slightly different because I wanted to do like some moon and stars and also some sun design. And I usually do like a light background and then I'll paint on top. But for this one, I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more standy out-y. So I'm going to try to do like a darker background, which obviously means that I have to do like the lighter bits first and then go around with the background. So I'm just sketching out the elements now. So I'm thinking a sun here, and then I thought I could then go over those details with some luster if I glaze some of the areas, just to kind of make them pop out, which I think might be really nice. So I'm just kind of roughly, because I'll obviously paint this, so I also don't have any pencils, so yeah, I kind of I want it to do like a moon, and sun. Yeah, and then on the moon side, I'm gonna have kind of some stars. And I thought it might be nice to do a few clouds where the sun is. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a few clouds here. I was going to have a little border, but actually maybe I'll luster the border. I might luster some stars all around. I think that would look pretty. Yeah, so I've just kind of sketched out the little design here. Sun, moon, stars, and then some clouds. And then I'm going to do kind of the... so then I'm going to kind of colour these in, probably yellow. And then the outside I want to do like a dark teal. I'll show you the mug here. Oh yeah, that's quite a good view. So yeah, I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to glaze the top actually, so I might just mark out just the kind of line I'm going to follow for the glazing. Something like that. So that's going to be glazed in a nice dark colour. And then I need a sharpen pencil. And then similar design really, so I'm gonna have a bit of a moon. It's hard to sketch like this, yeah. A moon here, I think. Like that. And then some stars. Obviously I can change all this placement, it's just a bit of a guide just to map that out. I'll make it look much better with the and then sorry, with the painting on, some clouds here I think, and then I thought this would be good for the sun on the other side, kind of just having the bits of the sun tail out there, before having the cloud come up over here, and then probably another cloud somewhere there. Yeah, something like that I think. So I quite like this kind of tealy colour, and I always think these look so pretty together, like a mustard and a teal. So I'm thinking this colour actually for the sun and the moon details and the star details, but maybe I'll add some other colours. So I've decided on these colours. So these are going to be the background. I kind of want to make them slightly different, so a dark teal and then a dark like navy, and then I think this for the stars and possibly the sun, and then white for the clouds, and then I'm undecided, possibly this for the moon, and then also this for the sun as well. So kind of maybe these for the sun, so I'll see how it goes. But the moon, I'm not sure about this colour. I think it'll look nice though. So yeah, I'm gonna have a play around with these. So I think I'll show you on the cup, just because it's a bit easier because it's side on than top down, but I'll show you after I've done the paint palette as well. But the design and how I do it will be the same. So I'm going to first start by colouring in all of those details. So this is a really nice honey colour. It's actually one of my favourite underglazes. And because I'm going to come round with the background, actually, I don't have to be so neat with it, but yeah, I just want to get the kind of general kind of colour blocked in. And I think what I'm gonna do is actually kind of also glaze some of these areas so that I can add some luster details, which I think will look really pretty. Then I'm gonna add the kind of the sun rays in this like dark brown colour. I think I'm just going to make these quite big, just so that it's going to be kind of less work to go around them. I think I might actually give the sun also a highlight. This colour. Kind of just ombre those in, I think will look pretty. Yeah. And again, the nice thing about doing this way, even though it is more time consuming, you can kind of crisp up those lines with the background, so if the shape isn't exactly right, I'm not too worried about it. Nice. Awesome. Right, moon done? Yes, I'm going to do the clouds in white. I'm just going to use a kind of a round flat brush for it. A couple of fluffy clouds. Nice. Okay, one done. So I'm going to go and do the paint palette and I'll show you them before I start carving. So I'm just doing that outline, well, the background basically. So it's going to be this kind of tealy blue colour, and this is the paint palette I've done. I didn't show you that, but I showed you the cup. But yeah, it's basically the same process. So I'm just filling in around that where I painted. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little update. I probably won't film this bit just because it's quite tricky, so I'm kind of doing that bit by bit, just filling in all around, and then I'll probably come back and carve some more details. So just a little update how they look, all coloured in, and then this one is all done as well, so I'm just going to let these dry out. So I just want to give you a little look at them all carved. So cup, and then this is the top, and then this is the tulip one I've done as well, and a matching cup. So yeah, I'm excited to glaze these and finish them up. So I'm going to add some luster details to this one, and then this one I'm going to leave unglazed but glaze like the top bit here, and again glaze the top bit of this and probably luster some areas down here. So it's glazing day, and I just wanted to give a little update on these paint palettes. I've already glazed the inside, so this is going to be white where the paint pans are. Paint pans are, and the sides I've waxed this part where it's gonna, I can show you, yeah, so I've waxed there up to where the glaze starts, and then I've also waxed the bottom. So I'm gonna glaze the edges. I'm thinking for the tulip, thinking this is gonna be, might be quite a nice purple. Yeah, this is one of the Paint On Spectrum floating glazes. And then I was also thinking this for the kind of the matching cup might be nice. So I've also clear glazed some of the flowers just to make the colours pop. And I haven't done it on the palette actually. Yeah, maybe I'll do it on the palette. I quite like just adding a bit of clear glaze over these underglazes, but leaving the rest matte, and it just gives the flowers a little bit of a pop. And it means I can also, if I want, luster the flowers. So yeah, I'm going to paint on that glaze over the edge and the handles, but I'm going to glaze the actual inside bit white. So yeah, and then I'm going to do the same basically for this one. I'm thinking this colour for the edges, kind of where the handles are, this kind of purpley brown, and then this is more of a kind of, yeah, like a proper navy grey colour. I thought would look really nice with this colour for the water cup. Tops, just clear glaze on the details and just a plain glaze on the outside. Same for the other one that's been underglaze decorated. And then here are the matching water cups. So yeah, I'm going to load these in the kiln and I'll show you how they look after. So the paint palettes are all finished out of the kiln. I just wanted to show you how they look. So this was the tulip one. I painted them both with underglaze, but this is the tulip one. And I really love the colours actually, how this one turned out. Really nice muted colours, but still have kind of like a springy, they kind of look like for spring, but they're a bit muted than like really bright colours. And so yeah, I'll just show you the lid. So I attached those ribbony handles in the lid. So I thought this would be perfect for resting your paint brushes on when like they have kind of, they're like loaded up with paint and you just want to pop them on the side. And then this is glazed in here for which will act as like a mixing palette for you to mix up all your colours. And then the underneath, that's where I've carved out all of those pans, and my idea was that you would put your different colours straight out of the tube in each of these pans, and then you'll mix them up on the underside of the lid. So yeah, I really like how it turned out. It's super kind of exactly how I imagined, and I think it has like multiple uses that you could use for lots of different types of paint. So I'm hoping to kind of use them for like watercolours and kind of squeeze them all out into the little pans, and then replace the lid so that I don't have to clean the palette. I can just put the lid on, let them dry out, and then just reactivate them with water. But yeah, I'm sure they can be used for like lots of different paints. And the matching, this is the matching water cup with it. So yeah, the colours turned out really nicely. So this I wanted to glaze a little bit brighter, so this is a purple. This is a commercial glaze from Spectrum actually, it's one of their floating glazes. And yeah, this one's super nice, so it kind of really goes with the purple in the like tulips. And again, I added those ribbon kind of handles, and the idea is that your paintbrush is just going to sit in there. And I'll just quickly show the other design I had. So this is the sun and moon design, a little bit more moody, darker vibe, but still really, really pretty. And then again, exactly the same palette inside. I just added a bit of a different design on the lid. But again, I really like how dark the background is, and it kind of gives a little bit of shadow around the sun and the moon. And I've actually like glazed a little bit the sun and the moon just so they pop a little bit with the underglaze, but I've left most of the rest matte. And again, I have the handles, but this was a little bit more simple, so I just wanted kind of like a floating ribbon, but not so twisted like the other ones. And again, this is good for just using to kind of hold the lid, but also I wanted it to be useful for resting your paintbrushes on. So yeah, I hope you like how they turned out. There's probably one of my favourite things from this collection, so I'll post a separate video going through the whole collection, which might have got, yeah, it probably will go up before this, so you probably have seen the whole collection, but this is just a little focused video on how I make the paint palettes, which I'm definitely going to do in the future. And I'm excited to actually get back into painting myself, because I used to paint a lot when I was younger, but I haven't done it since I've like kind of took up, like pottery just takes up all my time. But this New Year's resolution, I'm excited to do more painting, so these are going to be perfect for that. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, or I would love to know if you're going to make some paint palettes yourself, or if there's any kind of little additions that you're like, oh, I'm a painter and I wish I had that. That would be really useful as well. So let me know down below. But until next video, bye!